there's all these lists we see everywhere of the greatest accomplishments of this culture, whether it's the putting a person on the moon or building big dams or whatever. And I took that list of accomplishments and I turned it on its head and said, let's talk about the real accomplishments, such as the Aral Sea has been essentially dewatered. And there are lakes. The Aral Sea was the fourth largest lake in the world. Yeah. And it has been essentially dewatered in the last 50 years. I talk about how there are aquifers, huge aquifers, like aquifers that cover in the United States that underlie like 10 or 12 states that are being depleted. And most of the aquifers in the world are being drained. And there is a current plan in India to basically kill all the rivers in India by putting in 3,000 new dams and 9,000 miles of new canals and changing how the water flows in 37 major rivers. And we know what dams do to rivers, and I don't see that stopping. I don't see overfishing stopping. No matter what we're talking about, this culture is really impervious to stopping on its own. It's like an addict. And so the question is, how much of the world can it kill before it collapses? And for me, every little bit more that it kills is not acceptable. And so this is true for, you asked what's different or this is something that is very much the same from the beginning of my career till now, is that the activists that I cut my teeth with, we were all just hanging on desperately by our fingernails, hoping to protect this or that piece of ground until everything collapses, the culture collapses. And it's the same now. And my friend John Osborne often says that that because we can't predict the future, part of our job is to make sure that as things become increasingly chaotic, some doors remain open. What he means by that, and what I take that to mean, is that if grizzly bears are still around in 15 years, they may still be around in 100. But if they're gone in 15, they're gone forever. And so part of what we have to do is to attempt to save as many scraps as possible, because that's habitat for... right now I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing these little birds fly in these trees. And if these trees weren't here, these birds wouldn't be in this spot. This is habitat for them. And we need to maintain, save, and also rehabilitate as much habitat as we can for those whose fault this is not. For those who are the primary victims of this culture, which is the natural world. So we have to make our allegiance to them, and then we have to do whatever we can to help them, because if these birds are gone, they're gone. But if they're here, there's still a possibility, and we don't know what's going to happen. And especially with runaway global warming, every one of these beings, every little bit of force that's standing is that much of a buffer we still have. That the planet, by we I mean the planet, I don't mean this culture. That's that much of a buffer it still has.